What's your I can't believe they got away with this in a kid show moment? This kid's game show with creepy kissing host. I remember that Fairly Odd Parents episode where Timmy wishes he had never been born, or something along those lines, and then he ends up realizing that everyone, including his parents, is way happier without him. Seemed pretty dark for a kids show to me. There was a Canadian-based sketch show called You Can't Do That on television, that was on Nickelodeon, that was crazy in a million ways. But the most crazy to me was the recurring firing squad sketches where a crazy South American dictator was trying to put children to death. In most cases he would mess up and accidentally get killed himself. Side note, it was a show that created Nickelodeon's famous slime gag. Jimmy Neutron when he is talking with his dad who, his dad randomly says, "Once when I was 7, I sat on a banana." And of course, that changed my life. Jimmy and his mom's face say it all. There was some locally made British kids show back in the 1970s, I think, which signed off one day with a card saying "see you next time," with only the initial letters visible for a brief moment. I think someone got fired over it. Gargoyles in 1994. In the episode Deadly Force, Broadway, one of the gargoyles who likes cowboy movies accidentally shoots Elissa the cop with her own gun in her apartment. Blood is shown on the floor and a seriously well done episode commences about the dangers of guns and how Elissa should have been more careful where she left it, and Broadway understands guns are not toys. It was banned for a while, but is now on Disney+. An episode of one of the incarnations of Scooby-Doo in the late 2000s. My niece loved watching them, so I would sit and watch with her. Basically, a guest character who is a cute blonde and is crushing on Fred turns coyly to him while stating, "I'm 18. Able to legally vote." Correct me if I'm wrong. The Amazing World of Gumball. Gumball had to blow Alan in the school's restroom. The episode of Cow and Chicken where a group of very butch looking female bikers called the Buffalo Gals show up and break into Cow and Chicken's house. They proceed to start munching on the house's carpet non-stop. They also play softball. Edit. A halfway decent copy of the scene I'm talking about. I'd forgotten the part where the dad jumps scared into the mom's arms and she's like, "They're not here for you." Haha. Very subtle Cartoon Network lol. Maybe off topic, but in Iceland a few years ago the national TV showed the Teletubbies with the grown-up movie subtitles. That moment when Tinky Winky says "I know you were high" and fucked him behind my back. The DuckTales reboot has a scene where it cuts from one of the protagonists having her leg stuck under a heavy metal beam or something to her, 2 weeks later, walking around on a robot leg, and I think about the fact that this wholesome show canonically had a traumatized protagonist who cut off her own leg all the damn time. There's an episode of Tom and Jerry called Blue Cat Blues there Tom basically fucks up his life going after a girl, and at the end it's heavily implied that he and Jerry kill themselves. When SpongeBob is trying to get Gary in the bath, and he shows Gary doubloon soaps and says, "Look Gary, doubloons, don't drop 'em." When Mr. Krabs goes with SpongeBob and Patrick on a panty raid, oh my god. There's an episode of Adventure Time where Finn watches Marceline get naked from her closet and he just keeps watching cause he's like 12. I was watching Inside Out with my kids the other day and cracked up when they moved to San Francisco and were talking about hairy bears. Courage the Cowardly Dog was nightmare fuel. I have no idea how they got that on primetime children's network. The other one that comes to mind is Animaniacs and their infamous fingerprints joke. The SpongeBob episode where they learn a curse word, and even though it is bleeped you still have SpongeBob basically saying "nice fucking day, Patrick." The blatant BJ in El Dorado. You don't see it, but the guy walks in on it, complete with slurping sounds**, and then shell pops up, and was clearly below the waist of the other guy. Edit, and she wipes her mouth as she comes up. Edit 2, does not actually mouth wipe. I haven't seen it myself in 10 plus years, and made that edit, because like 20 people wrote me, and said even worse, she wipes her mouth. So I don't know what we are all remembering. Shake it, bake it, boutique wake it, from Symbionic Titan. Patrick, your genius is showing. Where? Proceeds to look worryingly at his genitals and quickly covers THEM asterisk. The episode of regular show where Mordecai sees Pops naked, and then at the end it shows Benson with a boner. In the Incredibles movie, the children flat out are responsible for multiple henchman deaths. Cat in the Hat movie, where Cat is holding a gardening hoe and says, "You dirty hoe, I'm sorry, I love you." I was letting my niece watch it, and the entire movie had a lot of wild references I never caught as a child. Made it more amusing now, lol. Probably the Mojo Jojo prison rape scene in the Powerpuff Girls. Right square bracket. That episode of Hey Arnold, where Helga writes a poem about her trembling girlhood. Even her parrot was agog. And I got an award for this? Lol, thank you. Edit. Award deso my days, haha. Also, all the grown-ups commenting. Were we just innocent back then or dumb? All of 90s Ren and Stimpy. Especially the rubber nipple salesman. Not counting the adult revival from 2002 BTW. Sandy Cheeks lives in Bikini Bottom. All of Mr. Meaty. Not a show, but in Aladdin and the King of Thieves when the 40 thieves are attacking Aladdin and Jasmine's wedding, and Genie remarks, "I thought the earth wasn't supposed to move until the honeymoon." I was watching Henry Danger last night with my son, and they hit an invisible man with a truck, killing him, and all that cast said about it was, "I guess they didn't see him." Invaders-im. Like, the entire show. Remember the episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob and Patrick were cursing, and they censored it with dolphin noises? Totally went over my head when I was younger. Then there's the panty raid, the one episode when they were naked and had the invisible spray. Then I remember the one time when Sandy was like, "SpongeBob doesn't have hair, or does he?" And that one scene where SpongeBob's nose is sticking out of the dirt and Mr. Krabs says something like, "Please tell me that's your nose," lol. A whole bunch of adult jokes that I didn't get, but when I watch it now with my niece I feel like I'm watching an adult show sometimes, lol. Rocko's Modern Life. Rocko's job was a phone sex operator. One episode his neighbor called. How the hell did they get that approved? Fingerprints. Judy Hopps' Zootopia. I mean, I'm just a dumb bunny, but we are good at multiplying. In the 80s, my mom used to let me watch The Muppet Show. She stopped letting me watching it after they aired the following joke. What do you get when you cross an elephant and a rhinoceros? Elefrino. Hell if I know. Semicolon. Semicolon. It was a simpler time. Pretty much most of Shrek. There's so much that flies over kids' heads, lol. In 1978, a cartoon movie was released, based on the book Watership Down. It is generally considered to be the most violent thing ever to be rated for viewing by children. Here is a montage set to rappy metal music of some of the more graphic moments. It has been shown on TV during Easter a few times, because it is about rabbits. Edit. I'm not saying it's a bad song, but the audio quality is poor, and it is pretty screechy when they hit the high notes. John Dillermand, a Danish kids show about a man with an enormous penis. Semicolon. Wiki.